Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days and welcome to this week's NXT review. A little bit later this week because, well, to tell the truth, I've only just got back from going to that SmackDown house show in Birmingham. There's videos up for that if you haven't had a chance to check those out yet. Had a lot of fun. And I will actually do a review of that show because I've got a lot to say. And I've got a lot to say about NXT this week as well. Obviously, we're getting closer to TakeOver Toronto, and there was a few more matches made as a result. I enjoyed this week's show. Really enjoyed this week's show, actually, at times, just thinking back. But the end, it really bothered me. Well, let's start with the end, shall we? Contract signing between Samoa Joe and Shinsuke Nakamura. Really enjoyed the build to this. You know, you had William Regal in the ring, you had Nakamura in the ring, and Joe comes out and then he walks off, and I thought, well, he'd gone, he wasn't going to sign, or, you know, what was happening. And then he brings out his own table, brings out his own chair, microphone, and says, I'm not getting in the ring because every time I do, Nakamura's protected. I'm not. I'm going to look after myself. Regal, you want me to sign the contract? Bring it to me. Right? And he had great fun with saying to Regal, hurry up, you know, get over here with your stupid accent, all that kind of stuff. And honestly, I honestly thought that Regal, you know, gritting his teeth, was going to take the contract over, and as soon as Samoa Joe had signed it, just smack him round the head with it. That's what I thought he was going to do, and that's what I really wanted to happen. But he doesn't. He grits his teeth, and he goes back into the ring and presents it to Nakamura. Now, there's like a slightly, not awkward pause, but there's like, what's going to happen? You know, and there's like not much happening for, you know, 30 seconds or so, and it's like, what are we building towards? Where's this going? And then Nakamura just starts beating up the security guards. And I don't understand. I don't understand how Nakamura beating up security guards is meant to get to Samoa Joe. You know, Samoa Joe was like incensed. And I'm sure the message was sent of, this is going to be you. Yeah. But Samoa Joe, you know, didn't want to get in the ring because those security guards, he didn't feel protected him. And now Nakamura's beating them up. That's surely good for Samoa Joe. That's kind of what I would think Samoa Joe would want to see. Not only that, poor Regal gritting his teeth, going over, giving Samoa Joe that contract, going back to the ring, and now his security's getting beaten up by someone he didn't think would do something like that. It's like, this is not good for Nakamura. He doesn't come out of it looking great. It's not good, although that was a great power bomb into the table. He got one of the security guards, bang, dropped him down onto the table. It was brutal, but great. But yeah, you know, it doesn't fit with his character for me, and it's not great for Regal. Samoa Joe was angry at the end, and I don't know why. And it was just like, oh, they could have done like 50 million better things than that. So it was really frustrating for me because the rest of the show was really good. Starts off with DIY against the Authors of Pain. This was from Los Angeles. And a lot of Psycho Killer chants, Johnny Wrestling chants. And that segment, that spot where Johnny is like thrown into Tommaso. Tommaso's coming off the ropes and he's going to dive through the ropes. And just as he's diving through the ropes, the Authors of Pain get Johnny Gargano and throw him. And it was great. I've never seen anything like that. And you want to talk about great. German suplex to Razor. You know, Tommaso went for the German, couldn't do it, wasn't strong enough. And then literally a couple of minutes later, bang, he does it. Crowd, yeah, proper behind him and everything. And then that fall away slam, right? I think this was Razor. And he's got Johnny on the front. He's got Tommaso on his back. So he's got two guys on him. And he does a fall away slam. And obviously, you know, throws Johnny. Johnny smashes into the ring. But he falls onto Tommaso Ciampa, and it's brutal. like, you look at that replay, it's like his head gets proper crushed by like 300 odd pounds worth of man. And yeah, it was brutal. Ellerin got involved. Revival got involved. And basically the Authors of Pain win. But there was a lot of cheating. And so the match is made later in the NXT show for TakeOver. The Revival will defend their titles against #DIY. I hate that name. In a 2 out of 3 falls match. And that is going to be biblical. I can't wait for that. So, yeah, great match. Really enjoyed this first match. Thought it was absolutely wicked. Then we got a promo for the return. Don't know who it is. I honestly don't know who it is. But someone's returning next week. And then we got the other semi-final. This is TM61 against Sanity. I love Sanity. And TM61 are kind of like pretty high at the moment in my rankings because of that great match. Was it last week where it was Shane Thorne against Roderick Strong? And really enjoyed that. Shane Thorne looked absolutely fantastic. Well, they didn't get a chance to do much this week because they got jumped at the start by Sanity, and they were on the back foot pretty much throughout this match. But they found a way. It was like a cheap roll-up thing, but they get the victory. TM61 win, and yeah, it was a shock. But I suppose not a shock in the sense of you're not going to have Authors of Pain heels in a final against Sanity, who are heels. You know, you need to have a face team in there somewhere. So TM61 does make sense, and that is going to be the final of the Dusty Rhodes Classic. I think Authors of Pain win. I hope Authors of Pain win, actually, because I want them to be this unstoppable force. But yeah, that is going to be TakeOver Toronto. So we've got TM61 against Authors of Pain, Revival against #DIY, Bobby Roode against Ty Dillinger, Asuka against Mickie James, Shinsuke Nakamura against Samoa Joe. There could be more if I've forgotten anything. I don't think I have. I thought that Almas against Cedric Alexander might get added, but they've announced that's actually going to be next week, next week's NXT. So, and the final thing to talk about was the women's match, and I thought this was the best that Ember Moon had looked. This was Rachel Evers against Ember Moon. Ember Moon just did some fantastic kind of transitions from move to move, reversals. There was a brilliant takedown that she did. She was stood in front of her and she kind of bent round her like this and kind of took her down that way. It was like really agile, really athletic, and there was loads of moments like that Ember Moon did in this match. This is the best Ember Moon match that I've seen. Really liked it, really enjoyed it. She obviously won, and obviously won with that corkscrew stunner. But yeah, really for the first time I saw her as being a threat to Asuka. I think that if she could develop on this, keep that pace quite quick, maybe add a few more nice spots into her arsenal, I think she'd be in a good place. I don't think she would win, and I wouldn't want her to win. Again, like Authors of Pain, I want Asuka to be like an unstoppable force. But I do think there's something in Ember Moon challenging for that women's title, and I'm sure that we're not going to be too far away from her doing that, maybe after TakeOver Toronto. But yeah, this was a really good show. I really honestly enjoyed it. It's just the end left me frustrated, but oh well, don't matter. Next week, on we go. That Almas against Alexander match will be interesting, and it'll be the go home for TakeOver. So yeah, I'm sure there'll be a few noteworthy things in there. Awesome, guys. I hope you like this video. If you haven't subscribed yet, really would appreciate it if you could. And I think that's everything. So hopefully see you again next time. Bye for now.